Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 30th of December. I don't know why I couldn't think of what month it was. It's the end of December. 30th of December 2019 to talk about everything that went down this week, or tonight I should say, on Monday Night Raw. Still getting my stuff together here for 1 second, just finishing up my notes as Raw basically went 10 minutes over when it usually does. And to be completely honest, as bad as that final segment was with the whole wedding, I kind of enjoyed it for the shit show that it was. It had me laughing quite a bit. So we'll get into talking about that because holy crap. We'll talk about Liv Morgan and Lana and the wedding and all that kind of jazz because Resado, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that word is. Maybe I'm just not hip with the times or something. So, but yeah, let's see who's here with us in the live chat as we get ready to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. We do have Henry McKenna Cavallo, Deacon Owens, Heavy Arms. We've also got Rockes. Hope I said that right. Kristen McNutt, Daniel Espiso. I probably just butchered your last name, bud. Sorry about that. We also got Luis Salas, Nelson, Woken King Slender, Jason Dalton, and so many more of you here in the live chat to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. And you guys are very opinionated about this Raw. I can see that right now as the chat is going way crazier than normal. And if you guys want to voice your opinions, we're not going to be taking calls tonight. Unfortunately, I'm way too busy getting stuff together for some other stuff we have coming up. But we will be taking your text messages. And if you do want to text into the show, you can do so at 510-906-1341. Again, you can text your thoughts into the show at 510-906-1341. Excuse me. Also, let me know how my audio sounds. I did some tweaking. I figured out that my microphone was kind of messed up, and I think I fixed it. So let me know if I sound better than normal. I should be sounding louder and a little more crisp. Just saying. So I guess let's just jump right into it. Raw started off tonight, and only Vic Joseph and Jerry Lawler on commentary. I had heard that there was a chance that they would add a third person now that Joe is off, and they didn't do that, which I'm glad they didn't. Because I heard that it could have been a number of different people. I heard 3 different names. Not really going to name names because it doesn't really matter. It didn't happen. So it was just Vic Joseph and Jerry Lawler. And I felt like the two of them together were perfectly fine. Good, actually. Better than perfectly fine. Good. Chris McNutt, thank you for the $2 Super Chat donation. We will talk about Liv Morgan when we get to it. Trust me. So the show opens up with Kevin Owens storming out to the ring. Just angry Owens. He would provide some fireworks tonight, he said, and then cut to a video. Owens said that Seth and the AOP have been running roughshod and have sent him to the hospital twice in 1 month. Owens kept getting beat up, but he was going to keep going until he got what he wanted to, and that was basically taking out the idiots, Seth Rollins and the AOP. Owens was particularly bothered that they went after someone that he respects in Rey Mysterio. He called Mysterio a legend and said that the attacks on Rey was probably the reason he lost the U.S. title at Madison Square Garden to Andrade. Then they showed a clip of Andrade winning the title, and my first thought was, holy fuck, you just made Andrade's title win mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. With saying that the only reason Andrade beat Rey is because Rey was hurt, just makes it seem like, oh yeah, Andrade can't beat Rey on a regular night, so why should we even think that he's a good champion or somebody that did a great job in defeating Rey? It's just like, fuck, man. You really killed Andrade's title run before it even started on television. Deacon Owens, thank you for becoming a new member here on PWUnlimited. It's just like, fuck, man. That really kind of irked me a little bit. I don't know about anybody else. But to me, that made it come off as, oh yeah, Andrade won the title. But he wouldn't have won it if Ray wasn't still hurt from his beatdown of the AOP and Seth. So, eventually, Rollins and the AOP came out. Rollins with his one glove on. It was weird. Rollins and AOP entered, and Rollins said that this position has been forced upon him by the likes of Owens, and he was sacrificing himself for the greater good. As Rollins spoke, Owens had enough and went after him, but was cut off by the AOP. As they beat him down, Samoa Joe would enter the ring. Joe decked both Akam and Razor as the crowd chanted for Joe. Joe put Rollins in the Kikina clutch, but AOP came back and attacked him. Finally, Kevin Owens would jump in with a chair when security marched out to break up the brawl. Owens then did a senton off the top to the outside on about 10 different guys. The brawl continued, and we went to commercial break. I thought this was a great opening segment. It really set the tone for what was a good show until the end. I mean, even with the end of the show, I would still rate this show. Like, if you guys are going to ask, because I know someone's going to ask, what would I rate this show out of 10? I'd actually give it an 8. I would give it higher if it wasn't for the main event segment. And that's with me being amused by that main event segment. So I don't think the main event segment really dropped my overall rating of the show down. But anyways, I digress. So in the locker room, Charlie Caruso informed Owens and Joe that security was on their way. Then asked Joe why he got involved in this situation in the first place. Joe said Rollins chose to involve him. He chose to make sure that he was no longer be safe. He chose to make sure Owens wouldn't be on his own again. Owens said he's known a lot of people, a lot of bad people, but none as bad as Joe. I guess that was meant to be a compliment? Cool? Yeah? Okay. So, Alistair Black defeated Buddy Murphy in a great match. Like, I just completely loved this match. Match was about 15 and a half minutes long. As Murphy went to the top, Black nailed him with a soccer kick to the face. Black went after him, but Murphy blocked him and eventually dropped Black face first on the ring post. Vic Joseph reminded us that Black got his nose busted at TLC. After a commercial break, Black kicked Murphy into the ring post and then hit a moonsault to the outside. Give me 1 second, guys. Just fixing something. All right, so after the commercial break, Black hit a series of strikes and a springboard moonsault for a 2. Black went to the top, but Murphy rolled out of the way and drop kicked him into the turnbuckle. Murphy then followed this up with a flip dive. After the referee, Murphy tried to cover, but his feet were on the ropes. Referee caught it. Black then blocked a knee strike. They then exchanged strikes. Murphy hit the knee strike, but Black followed up with a brainbuster. Just an amazing brainbuster that brought this crowd to life. This crowd just jumped to their feet when they hit that brainbuster spot and both men went down for a little while. It was phenomenal, I might say. Finally, Murphy ducked a Black mass attempt and hit a jumping knee strike. Black reversed a Murphy's Law into a roll-up, but only got a 2. Then he hit consecutive Black masses for the victory, knocking out Buddy Murphy, winning in 15 and a half minutes or so. And boy, was this match just as good, if not better, than their match from TLC. Like, this match delivered. Like I said, the crowd was a little quiet at the beginning, but once they did that sequence into the Brainbuster spot, they jumped up and they loved this match. So in the back, we saw AOP and Rollins. Rollins told them that management wanted them to leave. My question is, who the hell's management? There's no GM or anybody, quote unquote, in charge of Raw. So who's management supposed to be? Anyways, Rollins goes, hey guys, we're not being kicked out. We're being asked to leave. And then Rollins said this show's going to be canceled by the end of it because their leader isn't going to be here. No, this show's going to be canceled by the end of it because this goddamn wedding. Anyways. Security then come up to escort them out of the building. So basically they were getting kicked out, even though Seth said they weren't. We then see Lana getting her makeup done when Eric Rowan would just randomly appear. He said, where's my invitation? He lifted up his cage and said, they didn't care though. And then he screamed. Lana got scared. This was dumb. So then the announcers discussed Randy Orton's injury from last night. They showed a picture of him in a wheelchair with ice on his knee. They said Orton will address the issues later. We then got, Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan took on Kip Stevens in a 2-minute match. Basically, he just killed this guy. Jobber tried to run away. Rowan caught him, tossed him around, and then won with a claw slam. We then saw Lana applying lotion on her chest and legs, saying that everybody loves her and everybody's obsessed with her. They said tomorrow night on WWE Backstage that will count down the top 5 matches of 2019. So I wonder if they're the same top 5 matches that aired today on the WWE Network. Those matches were voted on by the WWE.com editors. So I guess now the Backstage crew will have their own set of top matches. I don't know. But again, no CM Punk. So Charlotte Flair would come out. Charlotte Flair came out and announced that she has entered herself into the Women's Royal Rumble. And then goes, I guess no one expected me not to be in that match. Everybody knew I would be in it, so yeah, I'm in it. She would then run down her accomplishments. Say she's the first woman to ever main event a pay-per-view. Say that she did all these other things. And then said, not only am I the first woman to announce that I'm in the Royal Rumble, I'm the first woman on any brand. I'm the first superstar on any brand, male or female, to enter into a Royal Rumble match this year. So then she said that this will be another one of her accomplishments when she wins the Rumble. She then issued an open challenge saying that nobody can beat the Queen. How about somebody come down here and try to face, if not bow down, to the Queen? The promo was okay. Charlotte's delivery at times was kind of like, what the hell? She was like, I'm entering into the Royal Rumble. And someone come out here and bow down. It was like, she knew she had to say these key phrases. And so she overemphasized on some of them key phrases. It was weird. And, out would come Talia. As soon as Natty walked out. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Natty walk out with a microphone? They go straight to commercial, and then they just start the match? Because that's what it looked like to me. I could be, excuse me, I could be wrong and she didn't have a mic in her hand, but I thought she had a mic in her hand, so I thought she was going to say something. I don't know. Anyways, we got Talia versus Charlotte Flair in a 14.5-minute match. As Natalya worked over Charlotte, I believe I heard her lean in and say, I'm a bigger bitch than you. So, okay. They then start talking about, on commentary, what's with this more aggressiveness, more aggressive side to Natalya. Charlotte escaped a Mexican surfboard and nailed a big boot for a 2. Charlotte tried working over the leg of Natalya, but Natalya fought out and suplexed her on the ramp. Natalya then told the fan to shut up and hit a vertical suplex. Natalya missed a charge, and Charlotte put her in a Boston Crab. With Natalya now on the outside, R-Truth would run down and be chased by the 24/7 geeks like Eric Young, who got big booted just straight in the face. Straight in the face by Charlotte. Truth escaped through the crowd, and they went to commercial break. Before we get going, we have a super chat donation. Kristen McNutt says, I'm tired of the jobbers getting killed by Eric Rowan and this crate. Okay, can someone reveal the crate and get it over with, please? I mean, I want to know what's in the crate. I think eventually it's going to be like you've waited too long to reveal it. But I'm not against the jobber beating thing. I mean, the more he kills jobbers in less than 2 minutes, the more of a monster he kind of seems. So I'm not opposed to that. But I think the longer you wait to reveal what's in the crate, the less people will be, I guess you could say, interested. Because if you wait too long, then people will be like, oh, that's all it is? Or, I was over that years ago. But it's not going to be years, but I'm just saying, you know. Henry McKinney says, Vince, Kevin Dunn, and Hunter were not at the show tonight. Sort of. Vince literally showed up moments before the show aired. So Vince got there right before they were getting ready to go on the air. But as far as Triple H and Kevin Dunn, they did never arrive at the building. And you got to think, they were in Hartford, Connecticut. I heard Vince had a meeting during the day at the WWE main offices. And that's about an hour and a half-ish drive, depending on traffic, from their main offices in Stamford to the arena that they were at in Hartford. So that's why Vince was late to showing up, because he had a big meeting. And, yeah, he eventually showed up, though. So back to this match. Talia hit a flying crossbody for a 2, then blocked a boot and hit a German suplex. Charlotte hit an exploder, but Talia ducked a boot and followed that up with a sit-out powerbomb for a 2. Charlotte blocked a discus clothesline and hit a spear for a near fall. Charlotte followed this up soon with the natural selection for another near fall. Natalya then reversed a figure 8 into a small package for a near fall. Charlotte then nailed a big boot and applied the figure 8. Natty held on as long as she could, but eventually tapped out with Charlotte picking up the victory. We then immediately go to the back, and Charlie Caruso interviews Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch said that, I'm here to announce that on January 26th, I'm going to face Asuka with my title on the line at the Royal Rumble. And Charlie Caruso said, well, you've been asking for this match for so long. Why now are you finally getting it? And Becky goes, well, I told them, my contract is coming up, and I want this match. And I'm not going to sign a new deal until I get it. And so, well, she said being the golden goose also meant getting the golden handcuffs. She wasn't sure if she could beat Asuka, but she would wipe her record clean even if it killed her. She says she doesn't even care about losing her title. All she wants to do is have a fight with Asuka. Okay. We then see Bobby Lashley getting ready for the wedding looking in a mirror. Then we get a Liv Morgan promo where she says, and I quote, to be different, you can't just look different. You have to feel different. Someone once made me feel different. Hint, hint, for later. And then they took it away. Think about that one. The old me would have done something impulsive. The new me is way more methodical. I strike when I'm ready. And I think I'm ready. Are you? And then it said, to be continued. So I assumed maybe next week we get Liv, not in an hour and a half we get Liv. Now listen, all these context clues too. Someone made me feel different. Lana. Then someone took that away. Lana. The old me would have acted impulsive, but the new me's more methodical. I'm going to wait to strike. Wedding's the perfect time. St. Clair Saturday, a lot of people thought she was referencing Enzo. They're not going to fucking be talking about Enzo on their television. No. When I saw people, no offense, but when I saw people doing the whole, on Twitter and stuff saying, oh my God, she's talking about Enzo. Was that relationship really that bad? No. That's not what she was talking about. Now we know she's always been talking about Lana, goddamn. So we go back to the ring and the OC come out. AJ Styles said Raw was still their show and had replays of the OC's vicious victories over the past couple of weeks. Carl Anderson said people thought that the Viking Raiders were unbeatable, but they've proven that wrong. Over the last, actually, he didn't say over the last, but he said twice now, they have defeated the Raw Tag Team Champions. Luke Gallows is about to issue a title challenge when, well, the Street Profits interrupted. And I'm kind of getting a little tired of the Street Profits, to be honest. I'm a little over their gimmick. They're just a little too over the top. So Montez Ford said the OC may have defeated the Viking Raiders, but the Street Profits defeated the OC in their debut. Ford was about to say ass, but Angelo Dawkins stopped him and said A double dollar signs. Because, they didn't want to get fired for cussing on TV. Styles then called them lucky. Street Profits made fun of their name because it was the same name as an old teen drama series on Fox. Then they started to sing the theme song for the OC. And then they all just agreed to have a match. Tag team match. Street Profits versus Gallows and Anderson, 11.5-minute match. So early on, AJ got involved, so the referee kicked him out of there about 2 minutes in. They went to a break at that point. Gallows dropped Ford over the barricade during the break, and they worked him over after the break as well. Dawkins eventually made the hot tag and ran wild on both guys. Ford saved Dawkins from a magic killer, then wiped out Gallows with a dive. Dawkins gave Anderson a spine buster, but Ford hit a frog splash for the win. Amazing looking frog splash by Montez Ford. I haven't seen a frog splash that good. Leo Rush does a good frog splash. But I thought Montez Ford's splash tonight was maybe a little better. Kristen, I think Mazineric was joking when he said Enzo 2. Just saying. So with that, we then go to a 1-on-2, 2-on-1, however you want to state it, handicap match. Drew McIntyre against Hawkins and Ryder. Before the match, Drew McIntyre polled the crowd, asking for a show of hands if he should be worried about his opponents tonight. Almost nobody did. He then asked if Hawkins and Ryder should be worried about him. Raise your hands. Hawkins and Ryder attacked McIntyre before he got into the ring, and then he just destroyed both of them in a 50-second match. Hit the Claymore kick on Hawkins, Future Shock DDT on McIntyre, and then covered them both at the same time. Cool. We learn that next week, WWE Champion Brock Lesnar will be on the show. Also, Rey Mysterio will be getting his rematch against Andrade with the U.S. title on the line, so I guess automatic rematches are back. Also, the Viking Raiders will be defending their tag team titles in a triple threat match against both of the Street Profits and the OC. Then it was time for Randy Orton, and boy, was this good. So I love incorporating TV and house show stuff. Orton got hurt on TV a couple weeks ago, played it up last week, played it up huge at the house show, and then tonight it all paid off. So Orton came out on crutches. A stagehand helped him get in the ring. Announcers speculated on what Orton may be saying here tonight, teasing possible retirement. Crowd chanted for Orton. Now, in some of Orton's delivery, I thought he was trying to stall for time a little bit. Just the way he was pausing and stutter mumbling, I guess you could say. Orton said this wasn't ballet and accidents happen. And everyone in the back was aware of it. It killed him that he needed help just getting in the ring. Orton recalled seeing champions retire or have to give up their belts because of injuries, including one guy that he's respected. Edge had to give up his career for an injury. Orton said he screwed up his knee pretty bad last night. He felt something pop, and doctors told him this morning he'd be out of action for a long time. He said there's a chance he may not be able to even return. He said regardless of any of that, I will make sure somebody gets RKO'd at WrestleMania. And on cue, out would come AJ Styles. AJ interrupted, Styles said he couldn't believe that it may not be till WrestleMania when he ever gets to face Randy Orton again. Styles then egged him on, got in Randy's face, daring him to strike. He said, I'll put my hands behind my back. He said, come on, just hit me, just one time. And Randy didn't move, Randy didn't budge, and AJ goes, whoa, you may really be hurt then. So AJ starts teasing him and just more egging him on. Finally, Styles called him a patient man, called himself a patient man, and said, I can wait till Mania, if that's when you're going to be back. That way I can put you in a calf crusher and retire you. It really looks like we're getting a Mania rematch. 2 years in a row, AJ and Orton. Okay. So, Styles then kicked the crutch from Orton, and this could have been bad. Because the way AJ kicked that crutch and it shot out from under Orton, he's lucky it hit the ropes and went over the ropes and into the crowd. Just the way he kicked it, that thing had some velocity to it. So he kicks the crutch out from Randy Orton, and Randy's just standing there still, kind of like looking mad. Crowd starts chanting, AJ sucks. And before he can leave, Orton said, hey, come back for a second. He said, the difference between you and me, Styles, you're patient, but I'm not. He immediately throws the mic, throws the crutch, jumps in the air, RKO to AJ Styles. This was great. Starts stomping the leg, showing us that he's perfectly fine. He's been fooling AJ all along. Bada boom. Here we go. AJ, Orton. Are we getting it at Mania? Are we getting it at Rumble? I assume both guys are going to be in the Rumble. But hey, I thought this was great because they not only just played this out over TV over 3 weeks, but they incorporated house shows. They made us think this fucker was really hurt. They did a great job with this storyline. Just saying. They then aired a replay of Andrade beating Mysterio for the U.S. title. They had a clip of Mysterio from MSG that same night, issuing a challenge to Andrade and also a warning to Rollins in the AOP. Kristen, I haven't heard anything about Edge's return in about 2 weeks, maybe. He's denying it, and I believe he's only denying it to try and keep it more of a secret. Because, you don't want everybody to think, oh, he's coming back to the Rumble, and then he comes back to the Rumble, and just boom. Rei Sato. As of right now, there is no Fastlane scheduled for 2020. So then we got another announcement of Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler tomorrow night on the Steve Harvey New Year's Eve special. Spoiler, Roman wins. They filmed it last week after SmackDown, so it's a pre-tape match. Then we got a non-title match. U.S. Champion Andrade versus just a random job guy. The match ended without a finish after Andrade and Zelina wanted to DDT him on the floor, just like they did to Humberto Carrillo. But it was not to happen because, well, Ricochet came out to make the save. Steve's Beach City Gamer, I don't understand your quote there. Anyway, sorry. So Ricochet came out, said that he's not going to let this happen anymore. He said, you took out Humberto. You took advantage of Ray. If you want someone to fight, fight me. And so we got an 11-minute match between Andrade and Ricochet that was pretty good. During the match, Vega once again exposed the cement floor. As Ricochet regained control, Andrade seemed like he was going to leave. Ricochet went after him, so Andrade shoved him into the barricade. Andrade then set up for a DDT on the concrete, but Ricochet blocked it. Right after this, Andrade gave him a back body drop on the concrete. After commercial break, Ricochet fought out of a chinlock, hit an enziguri, running forearm, front dropkick, and a standing shooting star press for a 2. Andrade then avoided a code breaker and nailed a nice-looking back elbow for a 2. Ricochet then countered a DDT into a roll-up, hit a super kick and a suplex. Ricochet went to the top, but was pushed off by Zelina Vega as the referee was checking on Andrade. Andrade then hit a hammerlock DDT and pinned Ricochet, picking up the victory. This was enjoyable. I really liked this match. I thought it was good. These two guys really worked well together. And, well, the right guy did win. I know some people online were like, why didn't Ricochet win? Then they can set up a title match, Ricochet and Andrade. No. You don't want to beat the champion his first night on Raw as the champion. So, Lana was doing a pre-wedding photo shoot. And then Sarah Schreiber was in the back when she walked up on Andrade and Zelina Vega, asking about his match next week on Raw. Vega said Andrade would beat Mysterio again, just like he beat Ricochet tonight. And then, here we go, guys. It's the main event segment. So, Lana and Bobby Lashley were supposed to get married. Give me 1 second, guys. Whoever keeps calling, we're not taking calls tonight. We're only taking text messages, which I'm about to read. So, unless you want me to block you from never being able to call, please stop calling. But with that, before we get into this main event segment, I do have some text messages to read here. Let me load them up. This person here says, do you think we're getting Orton versus Styles 2 at WrestleMania, Royal Rumble or Fastlane? What do you see Joe doing now that he's back top babyface, championship run, etc.? Well, Joe ain't getting no championship run. No. I already talked about AJ Orton. I think Mania probably. Good chance. Joe's not a champion, so I don't know why you're asking if he's going to have he's not even in line for a title shot. I don't think they do Joe Brock. And if they do, he's not beating Brock. So, this person here says, who do you think is going to win both Royal Rumbles? I've already talked about that. I've already told you guys if it was up to me, it'd be Kevin Owens and Shayna Baszler. What do you think about Liv Morgan? Do you think Liv will have a dark side? It's too early to tell. I mean, I wasn't expecting the angle we got, the involvement we got. So, like I said, way too early to tell. Especially since there's nothing I was expecting. This person here says, it's almost 2020. Will the XFL be rerun on the network or TV series? So the XFL is going to air, I believe, on ABC, ESPN, CBS maybe, and one other network. It will not be on the WWE network. I can 100% guarantee you that. And then this person says, any update on Velvetine Dream? Haven't heard anything. Again, he's like they check him up every week, see how he's doing, and nothing yet. Michael Hernandez, we will not be talking about that. And if you want to talk about that in the live chat, I will ban you from the live chat because that is something we do not talk about here. We do not bring that kind of stuff up anymore. We used to. We used to be those kind of people. We've learned. We said, no, we don't need to be like that anymore. No more. So now we move to the wedding. The marriage officiant introduced Lashley as the Almighty. Lashley wore a fancy black vest with no shirt, no jacket. The announcers noted that all the chairs on the stage were empty, so nobody accepted the invitations. Lana came out next wearing a white dress. Then they went to commercial. Crowd booed as the officiant spoke about the marriage. Lana cut him off when he mentioned something about having kids. She freaked out and told him to stick to the script. The crowd chanted for Rusev Day. As the officiant continued, Lana yelled that this wasn't about Rusev Day. And I just gotta say, Lana is great reacting and just off the cuff with the live crowd. I think she is just great. When the crowd's chanting something, she thinks about it. Boom. Here, I'm going to react really fast. Bobby, I know you got lines. No, give me a second. So Lana read her vows. She called Lashley the greatest superstar ever, and herself the greatest woman who ever lived. She said the greatest gift Lashley could give himself was her. The Rusev Day chants got louder. Lana started shouting, Lana Day, Lana Day, it's Lana Day, it's all about me, it's always about me. She then jumped in his arms, and they made out. Lashley, that is, if you were unaware. Lana brushed her face. So I sent out a tweet, and I was actually wrong. I'm going to correct myself here. I said that Lana put on too much bronzer on her face. She had a strip going down. Not true. Lana brushed her face on Lashley's face, and they were making out and rubbed some of his makeup off, I guess. The officiant told them to restrain themselves. It was time for Lashley to read his vows. Lana goes, just read it how I wrote them. I'm like, damn. Lashley read the vows as the crowd yelled, what? And again, Lana thinking on her feet. She goes, Bobby, hold on one second. She looks out at the crowd and goes, it's not what you should be asking, it's who. And who? Well, who is me? It's always about me. I thought Lana was just great. She then rushed him through, and then it was time to exchange the rings. She rushed him through that as well. And finally, he said, this is the part I dread, the officiant, that is. And he goes, Dylan Nolan, no, Lana's actually not a bad actress. Have you seen her movie? What's it called? Different Side of You or something like that? She did really good in that movie. Anyways. So he says, the officiant goes, this is the part I always dread. If there is any man or woman who objects to this wedding, to this marriage, please speak now, forever hold your peace. And a man would come out. And my first thought was, who the fuck is this guy? Is this like Lana's brother? And he's going to tell Bobby that she's just not really in love with him and just wanting to marry him for money or something? And he goes, this wedding's a sham. I'm Lana's first husband. And she left me. What did he call him? Oh, I'm gonna fuck this up. What did he say? Oh man. Oh, that's right. He goes, and she left me for that son of a bitch Rusev. And then she left him for a son of a bitch you. And I'm just warning you, she's going to do the same thing to you when she finds somebody bigger and better. And what happens? Lashley gave this guy the fucking hardest choke slam we've seen in a while. So the officiant goes back and says, may I continue? If there is any man or woman who objects, please speak now or forever. And a random woman would come out. She comes out and says, I can't let this happen. No. I'm Bobby's first wife. And Lana was like, first wife? You've been married? And she gave him that look. She started telling the story. And Lana just knocked her off the apron, sent her flying out off the ring apron. So the officiant once again goes, may I continue? If there is anybody, man or woman, who objects to this marriage, please speak now or forever hold your... And then Liv Morgan would come out and walk out on the ramp. And she says, I can't let this happen. The love of my life is here, standing right there. How could you do this to me? And my first thought was, it's too obvious that it's Bobby Lashley. Oh my fucking God, she loves Lana. Like, I thought of it instantly because I was just like, no. Lashley thing's too obvious. Holy crap. And so she keeps teasing. And she didn't go on too long, so they did this really well. And she's just like, this last year for me was really hard, but you helped me get through it. I couldn't have done it without you. I love you. You mean everything to me. And the officiant looks at Bobby Lashley, goes, you know this woman? He's like, I've never talked to her in my life. And she goes, no. And she gets in the ring, and she looks right in Lana's face, and Lana looks like she's ready to cry. And she's just like, looks right at Lana and goes, how could you do this to me? Lana slaps her right across the face, and the two start to brawl. And Bobby Lashley doesn't pull Lana off of her or anything. He's just got this look on his face like, well, fuck, what the hell's going on here? He's just got this what the hell look the entire time. Not doing a damn thing. Finally, referees and officials come down, break it up, pull Liv out of the ring. Lana gets back to her feet. They escorted Liv to the back, and Lana demanded, let's just finish this now, as we're 8 to 9 minutes overrun. All of a sudden, you hear the crowd go wild. Camera pans out a little bit, and Rusev's popping his head up through the cake. Finally, he just says, screw it. He throws the cake off of him, because it wasn't a real cake, and he attacks Bobby Lashley. Takes down Bobby Lashley, just starts beating the holy crap out of him. Liv Morgan then comes back out after Rusev gives Lashley a super kick. Morgan shoves Lana into the cake, and the show goes off the air with Liv Morgan and Rusev standing tall together. Kristen, you say you love Liv Morgan's new gimmick, but what is her new gimmick? We don't even know, because here's the thing. Everyone online is now saying, oh, Liv Morgan's a lesbian. She's got the lesbian gimmick. We don't know that. Love doesn't have to be that kind of love. It could be a love of, I love you because you helped me get through a hard time in my life. I love what you did for me, what you helped me get through. We could assume, but we don't know exactly if Liv Morgan's new character is that she is lesbian. But show a 10-minute overrun for this, where I was warned about this at about, 2 o'clock Pacific time. I get a message that goes, be ready for the worst segment ever when that wedding kicks off. And I was like, we'll see. Maybe it's not going to be as bad as everybody thinks. And I was told, no. This was written bad. I'm going to tell you exactly what I was told about this segment. I was literally told, pull this message up. I got it right here. I was told about this segment a couple hours before the show went on the air. And was now I can't find this message. I don't. Anyways, I was told that this was going to be like the worst thing ever, and it almost was. The only thing that, kept it okay for me was that, hey, I found it amusing. So, we'll see how it all does go. That was Monday Night Raw. Got a couple more text messages here to read. This person here does state, now that Rhea won the belt, which brand do you expect Shayna to go to? I expect her to go not to a brand at first, but enter into the Rumble, win, and challenge Becky at WrestleMania. This person here says, what do you think of Chelsea Green being on main event? I saw a picture of her on Instagram. Yeah, Chelsea Green worked a match before tonight's Monday Night Raw for the main event tapings. Good for her. Working more main event. Working more main roster stuff. And finally, this last text message here does state, what do you think will happen to Bobby now? You think he will be in different segment after this or still? The Lana thing's not over. It's not done. Then we're just going to, you're not going to do a wedding and just say, okay, now these two aren't even a couple on screen anymore. No. Lana and Rusev are a thing. They're a package deal now on TV, and we'll see where it goes. I think eventually it's going to lead to some sort of Rusev Liv, Lashley Lana match. But with that, I do want to say thank you guys for joining me here to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. I also want to thank everybody who watches and listens later right here on YouTube and on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we will be live again Wednesday to talk about AEW. We'll be doing the AEW review this week as NXT is basically just a review show, so no need to do a NXT podcast this week. We'll talk about the awards they give out, but there's no need for a podcast this week to talk about NXT as it's all matches we've already reviewed this year. So with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight, and we'll see you next time. Remember to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at PWUnlimited, on Instagram, Pro Wrestling Unlimited, on Facebook, facebook.com /Pro Wrestling ULTD. And remember to always keep it locked on our website, PWUnlimited.co. Turn on push notifications so that way you know every time a new post goes up on our website. Good night, guys.